I think I got on a few more. There's another one. Right, nice fish. Let's go back. Yes. This particular spot right here where I'm casting to last year, there were brim on beds all through here. A lot of times they go back to the same place. There's another one. Year after year, unless something changes, you know. Sometimes if the water level's different, they're a little different area in the same area, but a little deeper, a little further from where the if the water's lower, they're further out. But other than that, lots of times for several years in a row, they'll be in the same, maybe longer than that. But I've only been fishing on this lake for about, I guess this is like the third, maybe fourth year. Many years ago when I was pastor of a church not too far from here, I fished here a little bit, but I wasn't over here a lot then. My father and I came. That would have been in the spring of 1995. And we found some brim beds. We were just fishing with conventional tackle. Then it was before I got into fly fishing. Have some good memories of those times. Never fished a lot with my father when I was growing up. He worked all the time. Then I went to work with him actually during high school and after high school for about, I guess, total almost 13 years. Part of it during high school, but learned all about building a house. And when I was young like that, in the big wide world out there, I kind of felt a little trapped. And of course I knew so much more then than I do now. Didn't appreciate a lot of what I was getting. I'm really thankful that in 1998, the Lord worked some things out that I was able to live close enough to my father to reconnect with him. And that's one of the things in life that I'm really thankful for. Because, you know, when you come right down to it, the most important things in life come down to relationships. Of course, my father wasn't perfect, neither am I, but I got a lot more good from him than I did that's not good. Left a big hole in me when he left this earth. But he didn't want to be here in the shape he was in. He'd gotten diabetes as an older man. And like myself, he didn't go to the doctor as much as he should have. And he kind of waited too long. His eyes got bad. And he lost the ability to drive. remember taking him to the Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV, to get his license renewed. And there was a really nice older gentleman that helped him and was so gracious and kind to him in telling him that, Mr. Burroughs, you're not going to be able to get your driver's license renewed. You just can't see good enough. My mother had never driven. I think she was like 68, 69 years old. My wife was going to give my mother a driving lesson. That should have been on video. I didn't see it, but to hear my wife tell about it. They got in my wife's car, my mother at the wheel. My mother was one of these, and she's one of these incessant talkers. Great lady. But her idea of, everybody getting along meant that there had to be conversation all the time. And she was telling my wife something, I don't know what, but my wife was showing her about the car. And there's only one pedal in this car of my wife's. It's for the brakes, and you don't have a clutch like you do in a straight drive vehicle. My father, what my mother was used to riding in was an old Ford truck that had a 3-speed on the column, if you remember those. You have to be a certain age to even remember those. But anyway, my wife was explaining, my mother was talking. And they got in the car and they went around the field behind our house. It was about a 5-acre field, had where you could drive around it. And they made 2 or 3 rounds around the field. My mother did pretty good. And so my wife said, let's take a run out on the highway, out in front of the house. At that time, back then, wasn't much traffic then. Now you're taking your life into your hands when you get the mail. But back then, not much traffic. It was late in the evening. They got out on the road, my mother at the wheel. A pair of headlights popped over the horizon. My mother cleaned the ditch out as pretty as you ever saw. GoPro stopped recording.